Parallax scrolling is the illusion that there is more than one layer of animation at one time, and this gives you the sense of depth. This was very prevalent in the golden age of video games like the Super Nintendo, where you would have a character running in the background, and then like the background would move a little bit more slowly than him, and things in front of the character would move more quickly. And we can quickly create this effect by bringing some images into Flash. Let's go to Import and import some stuff to the library here. And once again, we're going to go to our Special Effects folder, and we're going to bring in a couple of different pieces of artwork. We're going to bring in the water backdrop, and holding down the Control or Command key, we're going to bring in the columns back, the columns front, and the dino fang. And I call it that because it's a piece of clip art that looks like a dinosaur, but I couldn't quite tell what it was, so I just call it a fang. So I'm going to go to Window, Library, and let's see what the dino thing looks like. You have this toy plesiosaur dinosaur crocodile thing. So, alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of layers, and we're going to move them slowly, individually. To give this illusion, we're going to use some movie clips. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our backmost object, and we're going to make a movie clip out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert, New Symbol, and we're going to call this Back Columns. And we're going to make it a movie clip. Now we are inside the movie clip itself. As you see here, it says Scene 1, and now we have this little icon that tells us that we are in the movie clip. And whatever we do here will play only when we go to Control, Test Movie, or Publish this movie. So now we're here. Let's go ahead and drag our columns to the stage like so. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. I'm pressing Command Control and the number 3 on the keyboard so I can see everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this just a little bit like so. And I'm going to now scroll to about frame 100. Press F6 on the keyboard. And now I want to move this just a little bit like that so that it's back where it was. And now let's go ahead and click anywhere in the middle of this sequence and enter a motion tween. So when we play it back, we're going to get this. And this is going to be the background of our animation. Since this is in the background, it's going to go more slowly than the other objects. Now that we have this movie clip, let's go back to Scene 1. And now we can go ahead and put this onto our timeline. Let's go ahead and call this Back Columns. And let's drag out an instance of this. Now, you'll notice here, we're not going to drag out this. This is our PNG file. We want the movie clip. And we can always check it out by clicking this right here. So we can get a little preview. Now we know what it looks like. We're going to drag it out. And we're going to put it on our stage. Okay? Now this is a PNG file, which means it's see-through. As you see here, as I move it, it's see-through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in our water. So I'm going to move this columns right about here, like so. We're going to lock this layer. We're going to create a new layer, and we're going to call it Water. And now we're going to click once on this layer and this icon, and we're going to bring our water backdrop into place. And as you see here, it's a pretty big file. So let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. And as you see here, it's going to cover up a lot of this backdrop, and we're going to animate this a little bit as well. So I'm going to drag this layer beneath the the column. So what we're going to do is we're going to just have this animated just a little bit like so. So we're going to go to frame 35. I'm going to press F6 on our water layer. And we're going to move it a little bit. And normally I would draw guides out, but I'm just going to manually eyeball this until I see the edge of the stage and then move it so that it's covering it like that. And we're going to add our tween as usual. So we're going to click anywhere within this sequence, and we're going to add our motion tween so that the water is going to move. We're also going to press F6 and really expand our columns movie clip as well. Now let's get a preview of what we have so far. We're going to go to Control, Test Movie, And now you see we have the illusion of parallax scrolling already. The water is moving and the columns are moving. So when we bring in the other elements, we get this great effect. Okay, so far so good. Now let's go ahead and put our columns front into play. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer and call it columns front. And as you see here, we're using movie clips, we're using just tweens. I'd like to just show you all kinds of options that you can use to create your animation. So we just go and do all kinds of things. You can do a lot of combinations of animation. So on columns front, let's go ahead now and bring the columns front instance into our foreground. And this is going to be going really fast as it goes by. So we need to zoom this up a little bit. We need to blow this up a little bit because when the thing's swimming by, we want these columns to come by and cross the screen like so. So let's go ahead now and move the columns right about there on this frame here, on frame 1. Let's go to frame 35, and we're going to press F6, and we're going to move the columns all the way across like so. We're going to get this out of our view because it's going to go by pretty fast. And once again, let's add our motion tween. So we have this great illusion already. See that? How cool is that so far? We have this 3D depth thing happening. And now all we need to do is lock this layer and add our star, which is our Dino Fang. And we'll just call him Dino. And we're going to drag an instance of this guy right into the stage. And the cool thing about it is with parallax scrolling, we want him to be between these columns and this columns back here. So we're going to click and drag him like so he can swim through all this stuff. And we're going to put him right about here on frame 1, and on frame 35 we're going to add a keyframe. We're going to move him out of the picture just a little bit. He's a big creature, so we don't want him completely gone yet. And let's go ahead and add our tween. And now let's test our movie out and see how cool this is going to look. So we're going to go to Control, Test Movie, and get this amazing parallax scrolling animation. Woohoo!